What's up? This is True Crime Tuesdays, and today we are going to talk a little bit more about the whole Karen Read stuff. One thing I found interesting about this case is you have people that are convinced on kind of both sides, right? Like a lot of people think they know exactly what happened, exactly how it went down, and it's just not really the case, to be honest.
On True Crime Tuesday, gon' get to that point. I'm having conversations with the voices that I avoid. She look good in a coupe, I look good in a jail. I told her what's good for me ain't good for her health. It's getting
Today we're going to go over this. I haven't watched any of this documentary, A Body in the Snow, whatever came out. I believe it's on Netflix, some other channels, I'm not sure. But like I said, I haven't watched it. This is my first time seeing it, so I'm kind of interested in seeing what they put in here. But, one thing people really have to understand is you don't know for a fact what happened. All of these, like this Turtle Boy and all these people that are just going gung-ho for Karen, imagine if you're wrong. Imagine if Karen really did do this. Imagine if Karen is just trouble. She's psycho. She's crazy. And you guys are all sticking up for her. And she's just sitting back, just using you and manipulating you into trying to get her off, right? This is pretty crazy. I'm not saying that's the case. This is all alleged. None of us know nothing, but that's my point. You don't know. So this matter-of-fact movement she has is a little weird to me because, you don't know any more than anyone else, let's be honest.
So, did you drive your car into John?
Doing this film is my testimony. I want to say what happened exactly as it happened. John was a Boston police officer. We went to the bar with a bunch of cops. Jen McCabe invited us to the Alberts.
So, from my understanding, he wasn't a Boston police officer. Brian Albert was, but John wasn't. John worked for a whole different city. From what I heard.
Last I ever talked to him when he got out of my car at Brian Albert's house.
Everybody liked Karen, and everything changed.
He was found dead on the lawn of another police officer.
This is one of their own, and that raises the stakes.
Miss Reed stated that she hit him 3 times. I hit him. I hit him.
I hit him. That statement doesn't appear on any of the tapes. They were shocked.
Okay, so, at what point are we going to be like, okay, well, she did admit it a few times. Now, that is coming from the McCabes and the Alberts. And so at the end of the day, you got this big game being played. But it just, to me, there's something bigger here. Karen definitely knows what's going on. I'm never going to buy the whole, she was just oblivious, didn't know what was going on, she had left. I just can't buy that. As much as Albert's story doesn't add up, neither does Karen's.
I am not on trial. I am a witness.
It's impossible to have any sympathy. They're all lying.
She'd smile or laugh.
She's posing for pictures.
Her behavior, in conjunction with the hard evidence, points in one direction.
DNA evidence placed parts of John on Karen's car.
Feels like I'm in a bad dream. This can't be real.
She was angry, she had been drinking.
I hate you!
How many calls?
There was over 50.
What did you text about going?
See, she was having a psychotic episode and she was drunk. So it's of course she probably did something crazy, but nobody knows. But the fact that we don't know is why I'm so concerned with how everybody's this whole free Karen movement. I cannot stand, it's like having an O.J. Simpson movement where everyone's free O.J. because he, and everyone knows he's guilty. That's crazy. What world do we live in?
Going through Karen Reed's phone.
No news so far.
There were gasps.
One of the most uncomfortable moments of this entire trial.
Shame on you, sir.
Elle magazine wants to feature me.
She was the happiest murder defendant in America.
You're either pro-Karen Reed or you are pro-police.
It's become a civil war. This justice system will never be the same after this.
Well, I hope you're right. Because if not, you sure didn't help anything.
Starting next week, apparently we can't have any gear that says Karen Reed. We basically are going to have to put duct tape over our mouth.
Judge Cannone doesn't want...
Listen, I don't trust this judge at all. I definitely think there's some collusion going on here, but it's pretty normal that you don't want a bunch of people that are so matter of fact standing outside your courthouse when they don't know. I mean, they're acting rather pompous for not really knowing what happened.
Any outside influences or distractions. She's got to make sure the case is tried within the four walls of that courtroom.
I can tell you from my experience with this community, they are not going to be muzzled.
We were trying to figure out how we...
And as much as I like Alan Jackson, we all have to remember he's a defense attorney. He's a scumbag at the end of the day. We can't sit there and be like, oh, well, this guy's a good guy. He's not. He's definitely not. He's a great lawyer, but he's not a good person.
Get around that buffer zone, and everyone said we should wear a certain color. Karen Reed said, I love pink, or something of that sort, and it snowballed from there.
Pink because it's Karen's favorite color. We love her.
We love her, right? You don't know her. You don't know her. This is like some kind of mental illness or something. Right? Look at these ladies. Like, this can't be real. You can't be obsessed and in love with some lady you've never met before. And the only thing you do know about her is she might have killed her husband in a drunken rage. It's pretty crazy. That's what you guys like, huh?
Karen Reed, let freedom ring!
Wow.
I wanted it to be
I mean, imagine how that lady's gonna feel when it turns out that they were wrong. Karen admits it or something. Like, that's crazy.
something feminine, that they wouldn't confuse it with justice for John either and think we're pro-prosecution.
You're looking damp, I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys look great in the pink. I love it.
And I do like the color pink. I don't wear it ever, but I like it. So I just said pink.
Honestly, we had no idea going into this how many jurors we were going to be able to find that could be fair and neutral. Everyone's read the media about this. There's a lot of people who know what's going on.
How are you feeling about the jury's?
We're very pleased. Yeah, we're happy that we have a jury, and we're looking forward to starting it.
It's just bizarre. I'm facing life in prison, and now these strangers are going to decide how I live the rest of my life.
Yeah, so bizarre. So bizarre, right? So bizarre. Can't believe this is happening. Like, if anybody can, like, just look at her in the face and go, she's definitely telling the truth, you definitely don't know what you're talking about. I can promise you that much.
Arguably, I've said this many times, jury selection, that's your trial.
You will question the shoddy and biased investigation that was done. A faulty investigation that's led to Karen Reed sitting here today.
We're working on our opening statement, and we're...
Okay, so what people don't get, I mean, about this entire thing is, I think, this is my theory, is something happened to John that night, and they all plotted together, and Karen wasn't going to go against all of the police officers and these people that have so much power in that town. So she decided to just go with it. You know, she's not going to say anything. She didn't do it. She's just helping cover it up. So there's this big plan. And then they decided that they would just throw her under the bus and use her as a scapegoat. But I think that has actually turned out to be kind of how Alan Jackson got her off. Alan was like, we're going to use that collusion that you guys, this big plan that you guys had, this plot, we're going to use that against them. Since you're all lying, we'll make it seem like they're the only people lying and that you're not. And that will get you off. Even though this plan had Karen involved the whole time. So it was everybody was in on this. But Alan figured, hey, if you just turn on them, we can get you off. That's one theory. The other theory is, I think they knew that if the cops got in trouble for this, they'd probably go into prison for life. They knew they could probably get her off for manslaughter. And that's why they did the whole cracked windshield or cracked taillight thing or whatever, because they did it on purpose. And the reason was they wanted to have some kind of proof Karen did it, but it wasn't really to set Karen up as much as it was as a whole game plan for everybody to, you know, get out of this thing. Because I think somebody probably sucker punched John outside. He probably hit his head, lost all motor functions, And they were like, oh no, dude, he's like dying or something. And they just left him outside because they didn't know what to do. And they panicked. Karen saw the whole thing. She was there and then decided that she wasn't going to, tell on anybody. So she's always been part of this plan from the beginning.
We're all on edge right now. Like, this is showtime.
And you will reasonably doubt their case because Karen Reed was framed, and the evidence tends to show that.
Immediately off the top of my head, I don't ever want you or me or Liza or anybody else to say Trenz to prove that she didn't do it.
Yeah.
We're not trying this case to a hanging jury. We're trying this case to an acquittal.
Yeah.
You sleep okay? Yeah. Did you sleep at all?
I did. I watched TV and like chilled out, and then I got up at 4 and
got up at 4?
Like,
Jesus Christ. There's no way that we could be more prepared.
I'm emotionally prepared. I'm not emotionally looking forward to it, and I know I'm gonna have emotions that I'm not completely expecting.
Go get him, Karen.
But I've steeled myself for it, and these last.
This is the first time I'm watching this, and I can definitely see so far that because I didn't know like the whole direction the documentary was going to take. If they were going to be like, oh, Karen's innocent, let's use this to kind of show she's innocent, or if it was like the other way around, where it's like, well, we're not so sure, so let's put all the facts out there into a documentary and see what people think. So that could be one or the other. So far, it kind of seems like a pro-Karen documentary, but, we just started.
Last 2.5 years have prepared me for it. They say it's become a circus. It's not about justice for John. It's all about the Karen Reed case. I mean, it's my life and my trial. But the Karen Reed case is trying to get justice for John. The case is about how he died.
See, she's never cared about John. Ever. I don't know if you've noticed, but this entire case has come down to her getting off, her. No one cares that John O'Keefe got murdered. This has to do with Karen. You ask Karen, it's about Karen. She's even said in an interview, I don't want this to be about John. This is about me. Exactly. I think it always has been. And I think that's the main point that people need to realize.
The butt dials add to the suspicion. I mean, it depends on if the jury believes that there really were 8 butt dials over the course of 2 hours between 3 or 4 different people in one night. And if they weren't butt dials, why not just say what they were?
So you think it's possible that you may have butt dialed Brian Albert for a 22-second call that you're not aware of?
I always tell the truth.
Did you lie under oath, sir?
No, I did not.
Would you tell us if you did?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Yeah, see, look at his little smart-ass mouth. That's the thing, is Higgins is a punk. Like, everyone knows that. That's why no one likes him. That's why the Alberts don't talk to him anymore. Nobody talks to him. The dude's a punk, and everyone knows it. So it's like, but you can see it on his face here. I always tell the truth. Oh, yeah? You butt dial people a lot in your sleep? Come on, bro.
I don't know what the hell was happening in Canton, Massachusetts on January 29th in the wee hours of the morning. Some like bubble was around Canton where everybody's butts were doing all the phone calls.
I think there's 2 versions of Karen Reed inside the courtroom. There's the version when the jury's present and the version when they're not. And when the jury is not present, Karen Reed is often looking back and talking to her family, who's sitting right behind her, laughing, making small talk with her attorneys. But when the jury is there, she is often very stoic, lips pursed to a degree, looking straight forward at the witness.
Before the jury comes in, she's posing for pictures.
See, you can see it's an act. I mean, she hasn't been 100% genuine since the beginning. So forgive me for not really believing anything she says, but like, I know a lot of people that listen to this are probably thinking, dude, he just doesn't like Karen. He thinks Karen's guilty. No, I don't. I just don't like people saying Karen's innocent with 100% matter of fact behind it when you don't know for sure. if she's innocent. We don't even know if the Alberts are being framed here. Like, we don't know what is going on, right? We don't know what happened that night. I have a pretty good feeling there was a fight, but I don't necessarily think Karen didn't know about it.
With Yannetti and Jackson and these spectators who get to come in, and those are getting posted all over social media.
It was really quite unprofessional, the way they all carried on. A lot of giggling, a lot of fun. Yes. Well, John's family has to watch that.
There's a claustrophobic feel in that room. The defendant is maybe 4 or 5 feet away from us, so it was impossible to not notice Karen's demeanor. In between witnesses, during witness testimony, she would look over and mumble something to her counsel, and then she'd smile.
See, she's just laughing again. Like, has anybody that's watched this, has anybody that's followed this case from the very beginning, can you remember at any time, at any point where Karen felt like she looked sad or broken, or, you know, I mean, dude, her boyfriend died. So, like, besides all this drama and that big smile right there, I don't understand. It seems like kind of a big deal. I know that if my wife got murdered, I'd probably be pretty sad about it. And I probably wouldn't be that up in arms. Like, she's super excited. She's like, oh, this is great. I love it. John died. People are fighting for me. I'm probably the one that killed him. Great.
Smile or laugh or turn around to her parents and roll her eyes.
Excuse me? This is funny, Ms. Reed? All right, we're done.
I'm sure the O'Keeffes hate every minute of this. I'm sure they hate every time I turn around, but does not bother me sitting that close to John's family. I've done nothing wrong.
Despite very brutal evidence provided where jurors were crying.
Yeah, what an attitude she has. She's so pompous. I don't care if I rub it in their face. Their son just died. Who cares? So that's your team, huh? All you Karen Reed supporters, Mr. Turtle Boy. Yeah, that's what you're sticking up for? Okay.
There was not a single hint of emotion from Karen. Not a single moment did she show a modicum of sadness or loss. And that is telling to me.
Why are women everywhere choosing Abby X, the new tummy tuck alternative? I got the tummy.
See, I didn't say that, right? I didn't listen to him and just copy what he said. I said that by myself. You heard me say it. I said, straight up, no remorse ever throughout the whole trial. Literally a couple seconds later, dude says the same thing. I'm not the only person that notices that. It's just the people that don't notice it aren't that bright.
So this used to be where I kept my exams I was grading and stacks of papers for students, and now it's my Defend My Life little bench. This was Alan, Liza, a PI, and me taking a tour and reenacting my path of travel that I had taken on January 29th. John was killed on January 29th, 2022. He's on the side of the road in a blizzard. I don't know how we ended up there. I mean, yeah, we argued that day, and then I left him very angry voicemails, but none of this makes sense. I don't think anyone with any logic.
And he wasn't on the side of the road. He was in the Alberts' front yard, okay? He was almost like right between their property and the other one next door, but he was on the grass. He wasn't on the side of the road. I don't even know why she would word it that way.
Would think I killed John on purpose by hitting him with my passenger side taillight, in the head on another cop's lawn, and then go home, sleep it off, and then look for him the next day. I mean, what kind of criminal mastermind am I? Not a very good one.
You're not. Anyone that can read body language can tell you're lying just when you say that. So, yeah, you're not.
Let's drill down on this for just 10 seconds. What is our thought bubble in terms of The taillight material, the glass, the plastic, the shirt, the jeans, the belt, the shoes, the underwear, the hat, whatever.
None of those items, not a single piece of taillight or any of John O'Keefe's clothing was booked into evidence until March 14th, 2022.
Right.
See, now that's weird right there, right? And that's why, like, I obviously know the Alberts are involved. Everyone's involved. You know, when I'm pointing fingers at Karen, you got to remember I'm pointing fingers at everybody, not just Karen. I just think she's not innocent, but I do think that she knows as much as everyone else does. She's just playing stupid. But there's one thing about this case that's really bothered me from the beginning, and I don't really know what to think of it. Maybe someone that's watching this could leave a comment and let me know what's going on. But that glass, like, she brought a glass with her that night to the bar, and she had been drinking out of that glass like all night. And John was drinking bottles of beer. And so when they found John's body, next to him was that broken glass, was laying next to him in the snow. And that's weird to me because that's not John. Why would John have that? And if that's Karen, so why would Karen's glass be broken next to him in the snow? So if you have a theory on that, please let me know. I think she got mad, probably hit him, got pissed off, jumped out the car, threw her glass at him. It broke and then left. But that's just a guess. I have no idea.
Where were they for a month and a half?
I think the defense's biggest challenge in this case is probably some of the physical evidence, but the prosecution faces many challenges with that evidence. The fact that it was snowing probably had a huge impact on evidence collection, on how they responded to the scene, and the fact that at the very beginning, when EMTs arrived and when Canton police arrived, it wasn't initially thought to be a homicide.
These are Vessies. They're waterproof. And that makes them rainproof.
Yeah, but it doesn't really rain where I live.
Okay, how...
We were trying to...
So, you know, I just had a thought too. This is another theory that I got, and this really might be exactly what happened. Was she did run over John that night and killed John, and they left him out there. She panicked and called her cop friends, called the Alberts and called everybody, and they helped her devise a plan. So at the end of the day, the McCabe's and the Alberts were trying to help her because of the cops and because they have pull in the city. They were trying to help Karen get off for this. They were trying to come up with a way to, you know. And so when it originally that was the plan, and then they ended up coming up with that new plan, or, you know, then the cops, I don't know. I don't really know what happened. Every time I try to think I figured it out, something like this happens where I'm like halfway through my story and I think of something and go, maybe not. But if the guys helped her and then they decided, no, let's just not help her, let's just tell what really happened, and then they told on her, and now she's like, okay, well, using all the things they did that night when they talked and all that for all night, trying to figure out what they were going to do before they decided to just tell the truth. You know, I don't know if everyone's following me. You know, they had a plan, then they changed their mind, so let's just tell them what happened. And now Karen's using their plan that they had all night before they changed their mind against them to get off. And that could very easily have been what happened.
I figure out how we can get around that buffer zone. And everyone said we should wear a certain color. Karen Reed said, I love pink, or something of that sort, and it snowballed from there.
Pink because it's Karen's favorite color. We love her. Free Karen Reed, let freedom ring! Woo!
I wanted it to be something feminine, that they wouldn't confuse it with justice for John either and think we're pro-prosecution.
Looking damp, I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys look great in the pink. I love it.
And I do like the color pink. I don't wear it ever, but I like it. So I just said pink.
Is that live?
Yeah. Oh, actually...
Love the pink. Love the pink.
See, this is just a big game being played. You see that smile on her face? It ain't because people are supporting her because she's innocent. It's because it's dupe and delight. She thinks it's hilarious that people believe her.
My name is Karen Reed. I'm being charged with murdering a Boston police officer. This can't be real. Doing this film is my testimony.
A Body in the Snow, the trial of Karen Reed, an ID documentary event, Monday at 9.
John and I argued the morning of the 28th, Friday morning. Most of our arguments were about his kids and that he thought I spoiled them. And I thought it was a real low blow of him to get on me for that. It pissed me off. And I said, I gotta get out of here for a minute. So I came down here to my house in Mansfield, sat in the other room, and I worked remote all day. That day, everyone was getting ready for this massive blizzard, but I realized I didn't want to be shut in here with the snow. I'd rather be up there with John and the kids and doing something fun, and we always had fun on the weekends. And then at about 6 p.m., either I called my father or he called me, and he said, "How was your day? What are you up to?" And I told him what happened. And I hated complaining about John to my parents because they liked him a lot. And my father just said gently to me, "Karen, why don't you stay home tonight? It's gonna snow." But I didn't.
You know, from what it sounds like, everyone liked John. You know, it sounds like he didn't have a lot of enemies. Sounds like he was a good cop. Sounds like he was a nice guy. And it sounds like she's just kind of toxic. And, you know, I mean, when people start talking about Karen compared to John, you can tell who the toxic one is and who the problem is. So that's why a lot of times when people are just like, "Oh, screw John, it's all about Karen," I don't really, that'll never make sense to me, someone that can actually think for himself.
Dad, if I listened to you, none of this would have happened. I think I left here in Mansfield at 8:30, and I met John at a bar in Canton, CF McCarthy's, at 9.
So leaves at 8:30, gets to CF McCarthy's at 8:51. Okay.
And then we went to the Waterfall right next door to McCarthy's. At the Waterfall, it was Jen and Matt McCabe. We saw Jen McCabe all the time. She coached John's niece's basketball team, so we saw her 2 or 3 times a week. And then Brian and Nicole Albert and Brian Higgins were there. My attitude always when I was out and about with John was, you know, he's got to blow off steam. It suits us all if John blows off a little steam, because he always has steam. So I said, "Sure, let's go. But this can't last forever, right?" So I'm driving, and John got on the phone with Jen, and he's telling me it's 34 Fairview. And we arrive at 34 Fairview. So when John got out of the car, he took my full vodka soda, which is sitting in the cup holder.
Okay, so now this is where you're going to see her start putting things into place. She didn't have to say anything about that glass, okay? She did not. She's bringing that up because that's a key point that she wants people to know. That wasn't my glass. I don't know why he grabbed my glass out of the SUV when he left, but he did, right? So that's a red flag for me.
And he walked up the driveway, and John always kind of skipped and walked at the same time. He was always in a rush. And I saw him reach the breezeway door, and I waited probably a minute, and he doesn't come. And it only took like 2 or 3 minutes for me to be irritated. So I called him. I didn't want to wait for him to respond to a text.
But this is what I don't understand. So they got invited to go over to the party after the Waterfall, right? And then so Karen's like, "Okay, cool, let's go party." So you pull up to the house, you let John get out by himself, go to the door, and then 1, 2, 3 minutes is too long. What were you there for? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. What was the whole reason that you would just not get out of the car with him?
And he didn't answer. I said, "You've got to be kidding me. What are you doing? You just went in and I'm sitting here. Either we're welcome or we're not, but it shouldn't take you 5 minutes to determine that."
Damn, dude, her body language is just telling lie after lie after lie. I mean, it's just, her eyes just lie over and over again. Like, I bet body analysts are having a heyday with her.
And then about 10 minutes went by, and I left, and I was not happy. But little did I know, John was not getting my phone calls.
Murder, murder. I'm going to circles. Just bought a brand new shovel. Time to bury some myrtles. On True Crime Tuesday, gon' get to that point.